Okay, beautiful people, how are you guys doing today? Hope you guys are doing well. So, we are going to go to Norway today, and I want to talk about universities in Norway, admissions, requirements, language, money, and everything that you need to know if you are an international student. Now, without wasting more time, I'm making this video to those of you who say you want to study in Norway and you do not know where to begin and what to do. First thing first, understand that you can move with your family to Norway, and Norway is one of the strongest, one of the richest countries in Europe as I talk to you right now. And if you haven't done research, please do research in this area. Also understand that to study in Norway, there are a lot of factors you need to consider, and I'm going to be giving some to you so that you actually know what you are going to be doing. First thing first, we look at the entry requirements, the academic requirements. What do you need to study in Norway? Remember, I have said many times that to move with your family abroad, there are various countries you have to apply and carry your family along with you, right? You can apply to about 6 or 8. I think there are about 8 countries. Now, I'm going to make a separate video with regards to that and then explain to you if you can actually start studies in February or September next year. Because as I talk to you now, only Sweden is open. And if you want to study in Europe, I would say that apply to Sweden because right now it is not possible to apply for September intake again. If you haven't done application now, it's almost impossible. Yeah, in most countries. So Norway is going to be starting its admissions in October this year. Most of the schools, I think 3 or 4, will be open October. Then admission will run from October, November. Then by December 1st, some will close. Then some will close by December 25th or 20th, like that. Then others will open admissions from January and close by February. So you should know all these things. And again, if you didn't know, Norway does not offer bachelor's programs in English in most of their universities. So if you're looking for BSc programs in English, you may not have them in Norway, but master's programs are available. Another thing before I proceed is you need to understand that Norway used to be tuition free, but as I talk to you now, it is not tuition free again. And as a matter of fact, you're going to be paying so much money to study a bachelor's or master's or PhD program in Norway. You need to pay your fee. You need to do proof of funds. And when it comes to proof of funds, you have to do blocked account. You already know what blocked account is. So I'm not going to go into the details. The videos is there on the channel. If you want to talk to me one-on-one, you don't understand what to do, you don't know where to begin, then there is a link below. Book a call from that link. Then I talk to you on call so I can give you legit information, advice, because of course I have the experience. So it's all left to you. But anything I'm going to be telling you is also on this channel. So make sure you check the videos if you do not want to talk to me on call. Now, if you want to study a bachelor's programs in Norway, a bachelor's program, by the way, let me put it this way. There are universities in Norway that you can actually apply. Like I told you, an example of universities in Norway that have bachelor's programs in English is Norway University. Now, understand that if you are going to northern Norway, first of all, is a very cold country. Snow does not joke in this place. I have a family in this country. That's what I'm telling you. So there is a lot of snow and it's very cold. So if you are moving to Norway, look at where the location of the university. If you are somebody who is allergic to cold, you have to consider all these things. If you are going towards the north, you will get extremely cold weather. But apart of that area, other areas are not as cold as the north. Requirements to apply for bachelor's degree include your BSc secondary schools and high school certificates. We are going to talk about all of that. Let's first of all take a look at what you need. Of course, you need your secondary schools and high school requirements equivalent to the Norwegian standards. I noticed that some people graduate from universities and they didn't have up to 180 credits. Some were having 100, some 120, some 180. Most European schools will only accept 120 credits. Now, when you are going in for a master's program, we have talked about bachelor's. The basic documents you need is your high school document. Then, if you are going for master's, you also need your bachelor's degree certificate. Alongside this, some people were equally asking me if they can apply to Norway with a third class. I do not think it is possible, and I think it's possible as well. I don't think it's possible, but it can be possible. The reason is simple. If a program wants to admit 50 people, and before you know, they admit this, let's say 25 people apply for the program, it means they still need 25 people. Maybe the remaining 25 people are people with third class or something, past degree. Well, they might consider, depending on what you studied, but it's not always in the all case scenario. So you should know this. Now, you need your bachelor's degree of at least 3 years with the certificate and the transcript in order to apply to Norwegian University. Then you also need English proficiency. English proficiency is very important. Most schools in Norway would not really ask you for English proficiency. Maybe if you studied from in an English institution, or if you come from a country where English is a first language, you may not be asked to submit English proficiency again because, of course, they are going to see your documents. But it's also very good to, first of all, inquire with your university because most schools will not accept to take you without the English proficiency. So you should know this. Then sometimes international students who come from countries where they didn't study in English, or those who are coming from other areas where English is not their first language, they will have to submit English proficiency. The required proficiency they want or the exams they need for you to prove this is, of course, the general exam that everybody knows, the IELTS academic, and the band score needs to be at least 6.5 or 7. So please put this into consideration, except that you are going to be studying in the Norwegian language. But is it common? Is it easy to study in the Norwegian language? It's not easy. You need to apply for a school, get admission before any other thing. This is with respect to the language proficiency. Now, the other thing you need to know is the application documents and the deadlines. Remember, I mentioned before that you need just your high school document. Now, these are some of the documents I will give to you. You already know of English proficiency, your WAEC, your NECO, your O and A levels, your WASI, depending on where you come from. If you graduate from another country in Asia, it's still the same thing. High school documents, bachelor's degree, certificate, and transcript. You need, depending on the university, okay, some documents may vary too. If you are applying to the University of Oslo and somebody is applying to the University of Bergen, you people may not have the same requirements, maybe. But the most common one is your international passport. Then you also have transcripts and the diplomas. Your diploma is, of course, I mentioned that already. And if it's not in English or Norwegian, you will have to translate this document alongside the originals, okay? So when you translate, you attach the originals to the translated version and submit it. And also, you need a CV. Sometimes some schools will ask you for CV, and most of the time, you might be asked to also write a motivation letter and also maybe supply recommendation letters. This is why it's important to keep a good relationship with your teachers, because at the end of the day, they will be the ones to give you these recommendation letters. And of course, even at your workplace, you might also get recommendation letters from your worker, from your employer. And sometimes when they give you this letter, of course, they have to be the one to confirm, because some schools will also send them separate emails, you understand, and they will be the one to include it. So be patient, behave well if you are planning to travel abroad, and keep a good relationship with some of your teachers. It's not every institution, every country that accept CV. Okay, some countries may not even ask for this, but again, Norway is asking for it. In most of their universities, you will definitely find something like this. Now, remember, when you go to the application site, it may not have a submit button. As soon as you upload a document, it goes directly to the institution. So you have to be careful with the documents you are submitting, so that at the end of the day, you shouldn't submit a document that is not the document you wanted to submit. Double check before you do the submission, before you click the submit button. It's not even there. So basically, you are only going to submit the document and it's going to go to them. There is no submit button. Language certificate, I mentioned that already. And also, if some master's program, I think master's in architecture, some other courses will ask you for portfolio because they want to see what you've done before. And then that is it. You now choose your program. Depending on the program you want to study in, these are the documents that you need. Now, there is no application fee except that it's going to be introduced because things are changing. But if you really want to study in Norway, I will advise you to always check the application deadline of the institution and also check the documents that you have. Now, financial requirements, like I told you, you need to pay tuition fee And after paying the tuition fee for one academic year, you can only pay when you get admission. Okay, when you pay the tuition fee for one academic year, then you can now show blocked account and then you apply for your visa. The school would give you the blocked account. If your admission letter comes and the school didn't mention anything like blocked account, send an email to them and ask them. Now, while doing this, there is also living costs, so they have considered everything before uh, uh, yeah, they considered everything before asking you for the amount. So you should always know. Now, after that, when you've gotten admission, the next thing you need to do is to do what? Combine the other documents together, then you apply for your visa and residence permit. Now, there are also documents you have to submit when it comes to the residence permit, which include proof of admission, valid passport, documents for proof of funds, of course. I'm going to make a separate video because this particular one is a big topic that you need to know in order to really move to this place. Then also proof of accommodation, health insurance, and of course, application fee. And that is it. You submit and you move. Of course, the application rate, or let me say the possibilities to get a visa is about 90 and above. I can't even say 90 and above. I can just say 95 or 98% guarantee. Yeah, that's the way Norway is. If you have all your document structure, remember, you did proof of funds, which is blocked account. So if all your documents are structured, you are good to go. So I believe this is what you need. We are going to be talking about universities, the programs, what you need to know, everything. And then to those of you who are asking about age limit, there are countries that have age limit. There are schools that have age limit. So when you go to a school website, read it well, like prepare your mind and read the website well so that you actually understand what they are saying. So you don't go applying to universities that do not want you to apply because, of course, you are going to be wasting your time and maybe resources. So please put all this into consideration